better movement on offense and changing sides of the floor and getting open looks, reading with the defense. There's a lot of pop threes tonight, so the post did a great job of knocking them down, and then just
the performance Caitlin Clark delivered today against a team that began the season 9-0, a team that also happens to be the defending champions, might genuinely rank among the greatest displays of women's basketball in history, perhaps even the single most breathtaking showing by any WNBA player we have ever witnessed. And it wasn't just about the numbers. It was the way she did it. The manner in which she hit shots that very few women's basketball players, if any, have ever even come close to. Attempting, let alone making. These were the kinds of shots that make you shake your head in disbelief. The kind that even seasoned NBA superstars rarely string together in one game. The kind where you realize you are witnessing something that belongs on the short list of all-time offensive masterclasses. In life, there are levels to everything. There's good content and bad content. There's decent customer service and exceptional customer service. There's a tasty burger, and then there's a Gordon Ramsay-level burger. And in the basketball world, Caitlin Clark right now is playing on a level that makes every other WNBA player in history look like they've been operating a tier below. Because if WNBA players had already been doing what Caitlin just did, we would have known about it long ago. The truth is, for years, much of the WNBA audience has been composed of people supporting the league out of a desire to support women's sports, which is noble and necessary, but not the same as strong. In hardcore basketball purists who watch for the game itself, yet Clark is bridging that gap. She's producing performances that are drawing in a wider audience not for political, social, or moral reasons, but because the basketball is simply that good, that exciting, that historically significant. And when basketball lovers, people who live and breathe the game, people who analyze angles and release points in passing lanes, see what she's doing, they cannot help but keep watching, because this isn't just good for women's basketball, it's good basketball, period. That's why the league is growing right now, because Clark is offering something that plays on every screen, in every arena, and resonates with everyone who loves the sport. Something that transcends gender and fits into the timeless category of must-watch athletes. Her game today was a study in pacing and control. She didn't come out jacking logo threes right away. Instead, she began by attacking the paint, putting her defender in motion, hitting push shots and floaters with touch, mixing in assists and quick trigger passes that forced the defense to collapse in multiple zones, not just at the arc, and that variation kept the defending champions from locking into any one coverage scheme. She made the game easier for her teammates from the moment she checked in. The Fever's first basket came from her reading the floor and finding Kelsey Mitchell cutting backdoor, the kind of pass that only exists in there. Offense when Clark is present because she pushes the pace in transition with real intent, not just running fast for its own sake, but creating tangible high-quality looks in those critical first 10 seconds of the shot clock, something the Fever often fail to do when she's on the bench, forcing them to slow down into half-court sets where their offense stagnates. Without her, a rebound might lead to a dribble or two, and then a reset. But with her, it can be an instant touchdown pass to Aaliyah Boston for an easy layup. Exactly what we saw today, and that's the kind of offensive transformation that only a handful of players in the world can deliver. Clark's gravity is such that even when she doesn't have the ball, she works the defense, pulling extra bodies toward her and freeing teammates for cleaner looks. And when she re-entered the game late in the first half with the Fever down 9 and 3 minutes to go, she immediately shifted momentum, getting into the paint against multiple defenders, using her body well, even giving a subtle push-off to create space, then finishing with touch over length. A move that told the defense they couldn't just hug her at the arc, they had to respect her everywhere. That inside threat not only got her easy points, but also softened the perimeter coverage, paving the way for the logo bombs and step-back threes that started to fall later on. And by that point, the defending champions knew they were in trouble because she had successfully forced them to play a kind of defensive whack-a-mole. Guard her up close and she drives by you. Sag off and she burns you from deep. Overhelp and she finds the open teammate. She even displayed the mental discipline of a seasoned veteran, never rushing into low-percentage hero shots early, instead earning the right to take them by building rhythm in other areas of her game. This is why her presence on the floor is more than statistical. It's structural. It changes the geometry of the game, and it's the reason the Fever's offense without her feels like a different, less potent sport entirely. If you're a basketball purist, Watching this was like watching an artist work in multiple mediums over the course of one game. Precision passing, high IQ reads, calculated drives, deep shooting, pace manipulation, and it all came against the highest level of competition. A team that has championship pedigree, early season dominance, and a defense designed to shut down exactly this type of explosion. Yet, Clark dismantled it piece by piece, not in a single furious run, but in sustained, layered stretches that kept the fever in control. This was not just a hot shooting night. It was a blueprint for how to be the most impactful player on the floor in every phase of the game. And when you combine that with her ability to inspire teammates, attract fans, and bring in viewers who previously didn't watch the WNBA at all, you realize you're watching more than a great player. You're watching a transformative force who, on nights like this, feels less like a rookie and more like the GOAT in training. Ask ChatGPT.
Luisa, what were some of the things that you saw down the stretch that the team maybe did well but also could improve?
From the first 7 minutes of the quarter, you might have assumed Caitlin Clark was setting a tone built on paint touches, mid-range looks, and facilitating her teammates with precision passes, a calculated approach that kept the defense guessing. But then she flipped the entire defensive equation on its head by unleashing an avalanche of three-pointers so deep and so sudden that it fundamentally altered how the defending champions had to guard her, making it virtually impossible to contain. Her, off a rebound, Sydney Colson fed Clark, and with no hesitation, she pulled from the logo. 21 seconds left on the shot clock, no set offense, no build-up, just pure confidence and audacity. And the truth is, you cannot scout for that because no other WNBA player in the present or the past has made such shots a regular part of their arsenal. And if someone had been doing it before, the league's viewership and highlight reels would look completely different. What Clark is bringing is something new for the WNBA in the same way Michael Jordan's arrival was new for the NBA. A player whose skill level sits so far ahead of her peers that the very definition of a good shot changes, just like Steph Curry did for the modern three-point line. Forcing the sport to accept that good doesn't always mean open, balanced, or close to the basket, because now it can mean from the logo or even half court. The very next play after New York hit a three, Clark took the inbound, pushed it past half court, and within 4 seconds launched another logo bomb, not in transition, not out of desperation, but as a conscious decision to exploit the defense's unpreparedness, because nobody expects a shot that early in the clock from that far away. This unpredictability is why she's drawing so many fans and why conversations about her already involve the GOAT label. And if you thought that stretch was done, you'd be mistaken. Within a 45-second span, she hit yet another deep shot, this time over too tightly, contesting defenders after Sophie Cunningham brought the ball up and immediately found her. And in that short burst of game time, Clark produced 3 plays that could each stand alone as a season-defining highlight. The kind of plays you can search through a decade of WNBA top 10 lists and not find anything better. A reality that some dismiss by accusing her supporters of bias or even racial favoritism. But the counter-argument is simple. Find anyone in the last 10 years doing this in-game. This frequency, with this accuracy, against this caliber of opponent, and then we'll talk. By the end of the first quarter, she had 14 points, but her first half was even more impressive. One possession saw her left inexplicably wide open at the three-point line, and thanks to excellent off-ball action and quick recognition from teammates, she got the ball back within 3 seconds of giving it up and drilled the shot. A classic Steph Curry style, give-and-go relocation that every Fever player should be looking for the moment she moves without the ball, because her off-ball movement isn't wasted energy, it's an opportunity. Then came an isolation on Breanna Stewart, one of the top players in the league, where Clark casually stepped back from the logo and buried the shot, leaving Stewart smiling in disbelief. Because sometimes all you can do is appreciate greatness even when it's working against you. These are not just shots, they are ceiling raisers for the entire women's game. And Clark isn't merely a scorer. She finished the night with 9 assists and 8 rebounds, showing she's as much a playmaker and secondary rebounder as she is a bucket getter, and her defense, including timely steals, reinforces that she can do everything on the floor. One assist in particular stood out, where she attacked the paint, drew a full collapse, and fired a perfect pass to Lexi Hull for a corner three, the kind of read she set up earlier in the game by repeatedly attacking the rim too. Keep defenses honest, and Hull, one of the best catch-and-shoot players in the league, rewarded her by knocking it down, embodying the synergy Clark creates. When she dimes you better make it. She layered her attack throughout the night. Early paint scoring, then deep threes, then mid-range step-backs, all before unleashing her fourth scoring dimension, logo range bombs, which makes her essentially unguardable because she can score from every